Hey, thanks for dropping in. Today we're making a festival tumbler or a turf tumbler. I've seen a lot of people in groups asking about this, so I thought, well, I'll make one. So let's get started. First things first, what's in my supply basket today? I've got alcohol, I've got a torch, and my resin, which is Pro Marine, and I've got Tack It Over and Over, which I got from the glitter grind. And let's get into it. Oh, I forgot. We've got parsley that I grew myself and crushed up for this tumbler. And my vessel is a 20-ounce skinny hog tumbler. And I've already prepped it and painted it. And I chose the 20 ounce because of the bulk that's going to be added. So now I'm going to be putting on the Tack It, and you can see I already put a little bit on there. And I sped it up because it's like watching paint dry to watch this being done. So I went ahead and put one coat on there, and then I put a second coat because the leaves are fluffy and they are going to require some grip. So I went ahead and put that on, and I will apply the parsley. Normally this would have to sit and get tacky, but this is going to need to go on there fairly quickly, as you'll see that it needs to be actually pressed into the cup. So I'm using a sifter. I couldn't figure out any better way to put it on here. It seems to go through the holes pretty good, and it takes me a little bit to get into the rhythm, but you'll see, it goes on. And so yeah, I decided that the whole tapping method was going to be way too slow, so in my impatience I just started shaking it on. In there. So once I get this on here and get it semi-covered, I did realize that it was going to take more than one coat. So I went ahead with more Tack It, and I did that off camera, but you'll see as we get through this that it looks pretty thick when we come back on. It's not at all like laying down glitter. Glitter goes on there and it wants to stick. This kind of wants to bounce off. The good thing is that it's very dry. It's been drying for well over a year. So I'm all right with it going on a little at a time. It gives me the opportunity to really get it stuck on that first layer. Now you can do a number of things with this type of tumbler. You could make a football field. You could make a tumbler for a golfer, or how about a baseball player? You could make a baseball diamond or a soccer field. There are a lot of different opportunities for this, but the person that wanted this actually wanted it to look like a festival slash weed tumbler. And they also chose the decal. So, got to give them what they want. This is normally where I would put, or anyone else would put music in here. I'm not that tech savvy yet. I haven't quite figured out all of what videos require. My main objective is to get the content out and done so that other people can follow if they feel so inspired to do so. And as you can see, it takes quite a bit to get that first layer on there. I didn't want to just dump it because my parsley has little tiny twigs in it, and I didn't want those to be pokey like chunky glitter. So then I just immediately just started to pat it down and to press it into the cup as much as possible, and just try to make sure that it wasn't going to just come off when I put my next layer of tack it on. As you can see, I'm pretty thorough about it. And there we go. Quite a bit fell off, but it took quite a bit to put it on. And I'm just going to recycle this because it won't go back into my kitchen. I'm not going to eat this. And I'm going to need more for the other layers. And here it is with the second layer of tacket and the next layer of the parsley. I've already sprayed it with Rust-Oleum 2 times clear matte. And one thing I did notice is once it was sprayed, the leaves moistened up from that. So there's no way that I could put the resin on there until everything dried up again. You don't want your resin to get milky, and you don't want to trap moisture. That's just asking for trouble. So I went ahead and let it spin for about 2 hours and gave it a chance, and then I decided I would try to see just how crispy it was. And you know, if it's crunchy and you can hear it, you're ready for your resin. So I've mixed up approximately, it was like 30 milliliters, and you'll see just how much this tumbler sucks in of that resin. So when all is said and done for this first layer, I actually wind up putting on approximately 45 milliliters, and it really just sucks right in there. I was trying to be really careful not to disturb that top layer. I didn't want it to mat down and just look flat. I still wanted it to have some sort of dimension underneath it, if that's the word I'm looking for. So I was pretty careful about putting the resin on, and I was quite surprised that it didn't pull up a lot of the parsley. So And as we all know, resin goes on, resin goes on. So I sped it up, and you can see that it really is taking that resin in. And I think that's notable because you don't want to have skips. And the nice thing about it is once I got the resin on there, and I was able to torch it, I'll tell you, there were a lot of micro bubbles that came off of there. Now see, here's more resin. I had to go mix up some more, because 30 milliliters it wasn't gonna do it. Unlike, your glitter, you don't have to put that much on there. I don't normally have to. And not very many people that I see do even chunky glitter have to put that much on in the beginning. And this is not dripping off of there. So you know that it's pulling it right in. And so then I went ahead and torched it to get the micro bubbles out, and there were a lot of them. But I'm glad that, I was doing this the right way. I wanted it to settle down in there as well. So now that I've got the resin on and I've got it torched, I'm going to go ahead and put, yes, one more layer of the parsley, but I'm doing it kind of sparingly because I just want it to have another layer so that it looks dimensional. Is that right? And it actually, I think it does in the end, you'll see. I think it looks like it's layered on there, which is what I was going for. So now once I have this all applied, I am not going to put another layer of resin. I'm going to let this go ahead and spin and cure, and let that top layer do whatever it's going to do. And as you'll see, it actually hardens it up, and it's the resin sucks up into that upper layer too, but it anchors it. And here we are the next day. And like I said, it really does anchor it. You can see that it looks solid. So onto another layer of resin. Actually, we wound up with 2 more layers, and then we were able to put the decal on it. And you'll see that the resin this time goes on much quicker, and it takes less resin. But I believe this was about another 30 milliliters on top of it. And this is exactly why I chose the 20-ounce skinny. I've seen some tumblers done that require a lot more resin because the glitter is chunky, and it really does bulk it up. And sometimes I feel like it might be to the point of too much. So my hopes were that the 20-ounce skinny would be able to accommodate it without it being awkward. But you can see that's going on there just fine. But like I said, it took another 2 layers to get it to a point where I could at least put the decal on. And I didn't bother to film that the additional layers. I did not put parsley on the bottom of this tumbler. I left that the original color green that I had spray painted the tumbler beforehand. I didn't want to have to deal with the extra bulk on the bottom. And I put my initials on my work anyway on the bottom. And so then now you're going to see this is after I got the additional layers of resin on there before I put the emblem or the decal. And now you're going to see the decal. And I think it came out pretty cool. So if you found value in this video, would you please give me a like, subscribe, and leave a comment down below and let me know, are you going to make one of these? I think they're really cool. Thanks for stopping by. I appreciate you taking the time